Hello, fellow Fumblers, and welcome to another episode of the Film Fumblers Show, the show where four friends fumble through your favorite films. Today, we are reviewing Fantastic Mr. Fox, movie released in 2009 and directed by Wes Anderson. Without further ado, my name is Adrian.
I'm Jay.
I'm Taryn.
What's up? It's James.
Oh, yeah.
What's up, James?
What's up? What's going on? How you doing?
Good, dude. Chilling.
My legs hurt from playing pickleball last night, and my toes. There's skin's peeling off my toes.
Oh, great.
No, not really.
Hard.
I didn't get to play. It looked like a lot of fun. Pickleball seems really cool.
It was a lot of work.
A lot of
It was a
work.
lot.
Getting
a
the
lot of
ball.
work.
I remember
half the
you were
job.
just like, you were just like, I skipped my workout, so I decided to play pickleball. For
Yeah, so I was
You were
like, not
getting
that
it,
bad.
dude.
Like I was like, okay. I was like, I'm just gonna be sweaty and journal.
Oh boy.
Fun. So
Yeah.
All right, let's take these shots. Who's shooting?
Oh, I'm not, dude. I'm sorry. I
It's
can't
okay,
do it.
Jay. It's okay.
I have
Cheers,
my glass.
guys.
Cheers in spirit.
Cheers in the
want to
spirit.
do it.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
I just don't feel right, you know?
Ooh.
It had been a while
Mm.
since we went what I would consider a little hard, you know?
Had it been though, because like we just had that whole LAN a few
I
weeks
feel like
before.
I didn't go that hard in the land, you know?
Yeah.
Just
Well,
'cause I
Yeah.
wasn't sleeping there, but
that's
yeah, it
true.
was rough. But also, I think I was just exhausted.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Fantastic Mr. Fox. Another Wes Anderson. The
Yeah.
second Wes Anderson film we've reviewed. The second Wes Anderson film I have ever seen. And man, I need to watch more of this guy. There's so many.
Yeah,
There's quite a few. Quite a few.
this is the first one I saw
Oh,
from
really?
him. Like, what is it? Like 4 years ago, probably. I saw it in college, my history of animation class,
Ah.
Oh, wow.
and I
nice.
fell in love with it immediately. Spoilers.
Yeah.
But
So that's an interesting thing because this is, I mean, it's stop motion, right? But we're like, yeah, we're considering this an animation because we're doing, animation
yeah.
for this, rounding it out with this.
Oh
But-
yeah.
Yeah. Good shit. So you fell in love instantly, Taryn.
yeah, dude, I remember we had to write a paper, and it could be like some of these topics, and I was like, oh, Fantastic Mr. Fox fits right in there, and I fucking found it, dude. The essay I wrote about this movie.
Did you?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Wow.
But
It's pretty
Yeah,
bad.
dude.
Pretty
I was
bad.
like,
I thought you were gonna read the entire thing.
no, it's like 3
Yeah.
pages.
That's going to be the review. That'll
How many
be
pages? 50?
3.
Oh, I thought you said 50. I was like, that is kind of crazy.
No, God, Jesus Christ.
Oh, man.
Nice. I think this was also the first Wes Anderson I saw.
Okay.
And I did like it. It kind of captures you in an interesting way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of timelessness to the style. Almost feels to
Yeah.
me like a Disney formula, but for adults, more for adults.
Sure.
You can still have kids
Okay.
watch it, but not all his movies, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and they
It's
did
just
like
that
an...
signature style.
Yeah.
Right,
Just
right.
always. Does it always work?
But I was wondering the same thing.
So far.
Yeah, I don't know.
that's-
I don't know if I've seen like a stop motion that I didn't really like. I don't know if I've seen many. I mean, Nightmare Before Christmas, Coraline, but I don't know. They're all good. I don't know. Animation's just better. We were talking about this before. I didn't realize that until I had to start rating movies, and I'm like, oh yeah, they're just better. Like I don't get why.
Dude, it makes me so sad. Especially TV shows. It's like, oh, it's a cartoon. You really want me to watch this? I'm like, dude, come on. It's actually fucking incredible. Like all this stuff.
Yeah,
Good stuff. Yeah.
I think it's just like the freedom that you have. You could just make anything alive. That you just can't really do
Yeah.
as seamless in traditional.
Like so
But
many
yeah,
different
this was-
styles and shit. Like it's just
Yeah.
endless possibilities.
But I mean, with this one, still, granted, I don't know a whole lot about Wes Anderson, but definitely still had the whole feel, right? The whole aesthetic, very, very bright and colorful. There was like a lot of very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Symmetrical.
Symmetrical shots,
Mhm.
Very prominent
Yeah.
Yeah.
with Wes Anderson.
That's what's
but-
so cool, dude. I've seen maybe like 4 or 5 of his movies, and they're all like that. Even that 2 animated ones, it's like he just still nails it, even in a different like art form like that. It's so sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like. Okay, this might be controversial, but I'm gonna be a little honest here. Like
Uh-oh.
I feel like there is such a thing as like Wes Anderson fatigue, where like if you watch like 3 of his movies too close together, you're just like, okay, dude,
The charm
we
wears
get it.
wears off. Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, like
you're a
what he's
hipster.
doing, it's like a
Not you,
one
but
trick.
him.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
feels like a gimmick almost at times, and
I
I'm
agree
just
with
like,
that.
what the fuck?
I don't think
Okay.
that's a
I
hot
don't think
take. I
that
think,
it's not like bad. It doesn't make the movies bad. It's just, you can get
yeah,
tired of it.
you know what you're getting into, like with a Tarantino kind of thing, where you're getting all
Yeah.
these fucking long-winded bullshit that nobody wants to fucking see except for him.
Jesus.
The signature
And so,
Tarantino.
you're getting this signature color palette with this dude and some random hipster songs that only Alonzo knows in the background. And it's like,
Ouch.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like, I could see that. You could get a little fatigue, but it still has that. There's something a little bit heartwarming about it. It feels very
Mhm.
personal. It
Yeah.
makes you
So
feel,
whimsical, dude.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a good word for it.
Everything's super witty. So I don't know. Did you guys even read the book, bro?
I've
Never.
never read it before.
Right? It's based off of Roald Dahl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what that was
I
like a
never
book
read
from
it.
the
I was just
50s, I
wondering
think.
if anybody had even
I think the only book
checked
I've
it
read
out.
of his is Charlie and the Chocolate
No
Factory.
way, dude.
Yeah,
Really?
I think so.
BFG?
Yeah, I never.
Oh. I had to read yeah,
James
I
and the
feel
Giant
like I read
Peach, is that him? I don't know.
that that
Oh, that I think it's him.
Maybe.
is it?
I don't know.
Also
Witches?
Stop Motion, huh?
Yeah, and
Matilda?
also has, also Henry Selick, which Henry Selick worked on this film. So interesting. He's not credited as much, I think, because he stopped working on it. I think it was like in 2007 or 2008, but I think it kind of started around like 2004 is when
Oh,
was it
wow.
when it like really went into kind of like production. But yeah, so he I guess he stopped. I can't remember the reason. I think
Dude,
he
Fumblerverse.
just did
He
other
left to go work on
projects.
Coraline.
Oh shit, there it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yep.
Ooh.
Dude, yeah. And I'm
He
just
had
a
his priorities right. Hot
dang.
take.
Damn.
Just
Did he?
kidding.
This was
I
Hall
don't
of
great
Famer,
too.
by the
No,
way.
I like this. I
Yeah,
like this
Coraline
movie.
was yeah.
This was better than the Royal Tenenbaums, that's for sure. I don't have too many.
Damn, you think that?
Yeah,
Easily.
I would agree with
Easily.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
Easily.
Do you not think that, Jay?
I don't know, not really. I think the Royal Tenenbaums has a real special something in
I-
it. It explores like
Oh.
taboo-ish things openly and whimsically, which is interesting, you know?
That's true.
Yeah.
Totally
But I
forgot
get
everything
it. I
about
get it.
Yeah.
I think the Royal Tenenbaums may be funnier, but this movie was surprising how funny I thought it was. I was like
Yeah.
laughing out loud like multiple times throughout the film. I was like, "Oh shit, this is."
There's a lot of like in jokes. Like once they let you in on their jokes, it becomes like reoccurring throughout the whole thing, which is like fun because I was like, what are they saying? Cuss? I was like, I
Yeah.
didn't know. I was lost. I actually was lost there for a second. I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
I was like, what's a cuss? And then I was like, oh, I'm stupid as hell. That's just
Yeah.
moving slow.
It's
But
in
like
place of cussing.
once they let you in on those jokes, like it makes it that much more like personal. I felt
Yeah.
when I was watching it, which was like really fun.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. And yeah, I mean, just like you said, like once you're kind of in on it, like the whole what is his name? Christopherson?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
his character was just hilarious. And what's great is like Christopherson's character alone wasn't really that funny, but just the jokes that surrounded him were so good. Like just how loved he is, like
Yeah.
it's so funny. Like when they're going out on their first little heist thing, and like Mr. Fox is just telling his son Ash, he's just like, "I'm sorry, you can't be here. Like, how did you even find out that you absolutely can't be here?" And then he leaves, and then Christopherson's right there. "Oh, great, you made it!" Like, it's just
It's
so
so
great.
fucked up.
That's like the funniest shit.
Well, I loved that like whole heist vibe because it really felt like Ocean's 11 for kids, especially because of
And George Clooney. Yeah.
George
Yeah,
Clooney. Yeah.
yeah.
Like you could tell that they had done this before, and it made it that
Right.
much better.
Mhm. This was
I-
George Clooney's first starring role in an animated film, and like
That's
fucking
crazy.
killed it. His voice
Yeah.
is just so good. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
his voice is like as attractive as he is. It's like it's not fair. It's so
Ooh,
It
annoying.
really is.
Yeah.
Meryl Streep
But
as the wife was surprising to me. Like I was like, whoa, I did not recognize her voice that much.
Yeah.
but-
There's a
Another one
few,
that
yeah.
was interesting that I didn't recognize at first was the rat, Willem
Oh
Dafoe.
yeah,
yeah, dude.
And once I was looking for it, I was like, oh yeah, you could. He's playing a character, right? Like
Yeah.
because George Clooney, that's George Clooney's voice. But the
Mhm.
rat, like Willem Dafoe, is playing a character of a rat, and but you still hear,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Defoe stole the show. I loved it. I loved it. It was
Dude, and
the
his
best.
character was awesome. Like
So
all the
cool.
knife flipping and stuff. It was sick.
The one thing that felt weird was, which I don't know, it didn't bother me that much, but it was like, how is a rat the same size as a fox? Which
Yeah,
was uncomfortable at times. And then sometimes it felt like the foxes were like the size of a rat, like compared to the
Yeah.
human. Foxes aren't very big, but they're the size of like a medium-sized dog or a small-sized dog, I guess.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. I mean, they were talking to humans, so if that didn't do it for you, I mean.
well, yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. The size changed a lot for sure. Because then when he picks up his tail and where there's a tie, it's like so long. I'm like, I thought they were
huge. Yeah, you're
smaller
right.
than that, dude.
It's a full-size ties. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did weird things where like, because at first you're just like, okay, it's animals, they can all communicate with each other, we get that, and then you're like, can they communicate with the people? And then they just write them freaking notes, like those
Yeah.
ransom letters
Serial
right out of
killers.
magazines. It's just like,
Dude.
why did you write it on that? And he's like, well, you wrote yours on that. Right.
That was a great bit. I love that.
Yeah,
I
so
think
good.
all of those things together is what makes this movie so special, right? Is like the wittiness, the like like the whimsicalness comes from like they're the same size and they can talk to people, like all those kind of like fantasy elements. But the jokes that they throw in are so good. Like to me, like that's like something you would see in like a Hot Shots or something, like a little bit smart but really really funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also like with the talking and all that stuff, like just the way they would just do human stuff, like wear clothes and like go fucking house
Right.
shopping with a realtor and all this shit.
Yeah, they have realtors
So
and
funny.
lawyers, and it's just it works so well.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we're constantly reminded by Mr. Fox, we're wild animals. Right? They still
Yeah.
hold that
Right.
Yeah.
that spontaneity of just being a wild animal.
Whenever they get in front of food, they just fucking eat it so
Yeah.
ridiculously. It's like,
The little
oh
squabble
my
with
god.
Bill Murray, the badger or whatever. It's so funny. A little slap fight, they just
Yeah.
fucking turn into their animal instinct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. And like a lot of the, we touched on it, but like a lot of the comedy is those subtleties, and I feel like a lot of times that's kind of the best comedy, where there's not necessarily punchlines, but just what the characters are doing. Like the fact that when they're going on a heist, they wear ski masks, right? Like,
Yeah.
who are they hiding their identity from?
I never
just
thought
works
about
so
that.
well.
It's so fucking funny.
Yeah, it's like that. It was hilarious to me the whole time how they're trying to be so secretive. Oh,
And
I
the
love
kid's
it.
little sock hat is just like perfectly on his head.
Yeah.
Love it.
And that like, Ash's character just touches into kind of another Wes Anderson trope about like just family dysfunction. Like how
Yeah.
this family is not working together all the way, and like, you have the mom and dad who love their son, but like he's imperfect, They're
He's
like, well, you're just different. He's like, I don't feel different. He's like, what do you He's like, well, I'm not different, I'm an athlete.
Daddy problems, daddy issues number
Yeah.
2.
Well, I also thought like the whole, when he shoos off Ash in the beginning, and then Christopherson is there.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, good, you made it. Like that's like, I took that as like, okay, he might be like a little weird towards his son, but also like I think he's protecting his son because he knows that what he's doing is dangerous or could be dangerous. And
Okay.
so instead of being like for the cousin, he doesn't give a shit. Like that's a transaction. But for his
Doesn't
son,
matter, yeah.
it's just different, And he wants to be the guy who's like providing for the whole family, like that's his. He's really tied up in that, especially when he becomes like a newspaper guy. Then he gets kind of depressed and he's like not doing what he wants to do, and that's all. That's a little bit of that like weird, deep, emotional stuff that you wouldn't really see so
Yeah.
much in a
Dude,
movie like that.
that's exactly what my paper was about. That theme of the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude, it's so hilarious. He's just like, oh yeah, you guys catch like my column in the newspaper? He's like, oh, you guys probably didn't read it. Yeah, it's all good. It's like us with our fucking podcast. You don't have to worry about it. It's like it's all good.
I just
It's
assume
like,
you don't.
you know. It's just like it's that smiling face, but you're crying in the inside. It's just like
Yeah, it's just like every time somebody, I like haven't seen somebody in a few months or something, and they're like, "Oh, you guys still doing the podcast?" I'm like, "Yeah, we've been doing it every single week for the past year."
it's hard to be consistent like that. Don't worry about it.
Right? Yeah. No, it's fine.
Yeah.
Probably didn't have time. Whatever.
It's the grind, man.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so Mr. Fox, his character. Okay, so we talked about book written by Roald Dahl. He, at the time of writing, I was reading that he like just had gone through so many hardships of just fatherhood, and like I think he had a son who had passed away, and then a son who was like having issues from a car accident that had happened. He had like some brain damage and stuff, and so the theme of that really comes in where Mr. Fox is he's just trying to be that like supportive father, and like he's just really trying to provide for his family. And that was just I don't know, it was such a cool theme to watch, like just how reckless Mr. Fox is, but like he is doing it not for greed, but like he's like, I need to take care of my family and I need to just be that provider.
He's like, that's what I'm good at, and like, why am I not doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a fox, sly as a fox. Like so it just worked on like so many levels, the character of the fox and like it being that animal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I wish I read the book just so like what's the correlation there? Is there these deep themes in there?
So I
or
saw
is it
that,
just about whatever,
I saw that like the second act is basically the book, and the beginning and the end are like totally new, like stuff that they wrote.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
don't
think
know,
I read
how
that,
long
like-
it is. It's probably short, right? It's a kid's book, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so,
usually
probably.
shorter.
Yeah, because what's the runtime on the movie?
Like an hour and
About an
30.
hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, an hour 27. Yeah, I think I read that like a lot of it was just directly from the source, like directly from the book. So, like you said, the beginning end they did change it a bit, but the core middle of it is like very much from the book, which is cool. Which is
Yeah, dude. Turn into like some kid's book from an author that has like all these other like popular ones, and like turn that into a whole ass movie with like different things about it. I don't know. It's really cool.
And
Yeah.
so
it's gonna
that's
be
the thing.
hard.
That's the thing that I like kind of wanted to talk about is just again, I hadn't seen this movie or really done any research before we watched it, but just seeing it and like hearing about it, it doesn't feel like a kids movie. And I think it still doesn't even after watching it. Like Coraline, for example, feels like a kids movie. Nightmare Before Christmas, like these like just feel like kids movies. This type of animation definitely does. But this, maybe it's just because in my head I'm like, okay, Wes Anderson isn't really, a director for kids films. But I don't know, how do you guys feel about that? Like, did it feel like would you let your young children watch this movie? Or like not let them watch it, but like would this be like, oh, watch this movie, you're gonna enjoy it? You know what I mean? Because they would enjoy Coraline. I don't know. I feel like the comedy is more subtle.
Yeah, the dialogue and stuff is probably would fly over their heads and not be like as
too
like
much.
wacky and stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Like, so I watched this with Samantha, and before, because she had never seen it either, and like when we had just looked at the pictures and stuff, and she's like, oh, like they're ugly. Like all of the characters, like it's not pretty. You know what I mean? It's not like a pretty. But as we were watching it, it grew on her a lot, and me. I'm just like, they are actually kind of cute in their ugliness. Like they're really like ragtag, like just kind of thrown together. They use real animal hair, and real human hair for the humans. Like it's
That's
very
crazy, dude.
it's very raw, but it's there's a cuteness there. There's a cuteness factor that happens
Yeah. That's
with
interesting.
just how the characters are.
There's even like
the little Ash is so ugly. It's just like he's so weird looking.
he's all tiny, he's cute, with a little cape on. I don't know.
See that? Yeah, and like that's why he's cute is because you're just like you feel bad for him, kind of. You know, it's like that. Aw, like
Yeah.
so ugly.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say it's like full on a kids movie because like it kind of feels like it, but then they're like this guy brews alcoholic cider and this guy has a knife and they're shooting with guns and stuff. It's like holy shit.
Killing birds, you know, like
Yeah.
Yeah. But I loved though, like how they would move the camera down from when he actually killed it.
yeah.
Those little, I don't know. To me, it felt like this is what Shrek would be if it was like more higher art, I guess. I don't know.
What do
It's
you
like a
mean by
higher art
that?
Shrek.
Ah,
Have you watched Shrek?
Shrek is
recently?
love. Shrek is
Shrek
life.
is
I
fart
have-
jokes and shit, right? Like the most of the time. Is that what you
No,
mean?
There's like a no. Well, there's like it's for kids, but if you watch it as an adult, the dialogue is crazy. Like they
Oh,
throw
yeah.
some real adult shit
Yeah,
in
there's
there.
It's
a
like
lot of
half of
adult-
it's like shitting on Disney and like other
Yeah.
studios, right? Like that's
Yeah.
half the jokes.
Right.
And there's also some like raunchy kind of joke, like Lord Farquaad, how he's like, oh, maybe he's compensating for something. It's just like, oh, they just made a small dick joke in a kids show, you know, like a kids movie.
Or even Lord Farquaad, it's just fuckwad.
Right.
Like all
yeah.
these little like near terms and shit. It's crazy.
And so, yeah, not to get too much obviously into Shrek, but like that is an interesting movie where Shrek is very much a kids movie, right? But also there's a lot there for adults and it could still be very enjoyable for adults. And I think with Fantastic Mr. Fox, I would say that it's not really a kids movie. Like it's not a movie that you'd be like, "Oh, watch
Yeah.
hey 9-year-old watch out Fantastic Mr. Fox, you'll like it." I don't think they
Yeah.
would. I don't think they would like it.
Right.
I think there's some like
Yeah.
weird, funny stuff. It's like I don't know the way they just dig down forever. Like I don't know. I
Yeah.
feel like kids would get
Yeah.
a
That reminded me
out
so
of
much of
something
the
like that.
video game Dig Dug. How they were,
Just straight lines, just
yeah, just the straight line and the hard angles.
Are
Yeah.
foxes good at digging? Is that a thing?
Yeah, a foxhole. I mean, right?
Oh,
They live in
I don't know.
foxholes.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think they're good at.
yeah. At the
digging,
beginning,
probably.
they live in a hole. They're like, we're foxes.
Yeah,
we live
trying
in a
to
hole,"
upgrade
or
into a
whatever,
tree.
yeah.
Gosh, and again, just and that's the thing is like so much of it is very adult themed. Where you know, like you were saying earlier, Taryn, like with the realtor, he's like, like you guys don't have any pine or like any other kind of tree. It's like, well, in your price range, and you know, like us
Yeah.
like being house shopping and stuff, you're just like trying to talk to your realtor about shit like that, and it's so weirdly relatable, really, like going into adulthood, doing real quote unquote adult things.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
But-
I think
Yeah.
that that's what makes the Wes Anderson movies kind of weird because like he started making movies really young and like he didn't really have these experiences while like not already doing something that he truly loved to do, like making movies. And I feel like that's just a different, I don't know, it would just be a different life experience. Like he has maybe a little bit more of a childish outlook on life because of it. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah, I could see
And
that.
that's why that kind of blends into his movies.
The whimsicalness of
Yeah.
yeah.
And maybe that's sounds like I'm shitting on him a little bit, but I don't really think so. Like he still has this hyper imagination, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I read that for like a large part of the production for this, he was working remotely from, I think like London or Paris or like wherever he lived at the time, and he was just like he would act out scenes and then just send them from his iPhone, like, and that it was just like he just seems like a very eccentric guy, you know, that
Yeah.
likes to be
Sure.
alone, doesn't like to be around a lot of people, and I don't know. It's just directors are probably all fucking weird in their own right, but Wes Anderson
Yeah.
specifically.
Dude,
Yeah, I
that's-
was reading some like I don't know if you would call them reviews, but people that have worked with him in the past and how he like the consensus is like he's super anal. about everything, which is why everything is so meticulously symmetrical and stuff. But like that working with him can be really frustrating, but you know that like at the end the product is cool. Like it'll be worth doing.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that it's not like a terrible time to work with him,
Right.
but it's rough, but it's worth it.
Did you guys have you guys seen how they did the dialogue for this movie, like the voice capturing?
I saw that they didn't record like in a traditional studio, right?
They recorded in like random ass places. I saw a video like a couple weeks ago randomly of George Clooney and all them sitting like around this little table, like it looked like a hotel, like on this couch, just doing the dialogue, and like that's what's in the fucking movie. Like he wanted them face to face to make it feel more natural and stuff, and I feel like that worked so well.
And then also in like just weird environments I saw, like
Yeah.
like outside in the middle of a fucking forest, like when they were doing foresty type scenes, like underground at some point. I don't know the context behind that, but just I don't again, it's so weird. It's just like I can't remember what this comes up a lot with other directors, but they kind of not force the cast, but they like have the cast do just weird things that to like weirdly influence the movie, right? Like
Getting character better.
I mean, yeah, like in Lighthouse, for example, how they just lived in like this shitty ass, you know, Willem Dafoe specifically, like lived in this shitty ass shack to like just stay in character. That was more of an actor, you know, method actor kind of choice, but directors definitely influence that a lot too, with you know things like that. Where's the environment that you're recording? Because it's obviously going to shape that.
Yeah.
Just not only the sound quality, but also just how the characters interact with one another.
Yeah, I noticed it this time. After like learning that, you could tell like there's some parts where the first word or two it sounds like they're too far away from the mic, and then it like gets back in like focus almost. I don't know. There's like a few
Oh,
different
really?
spots where it's like it kind of sounds like shit, but it's like that's the take because that's like the most natural, best sounding one or whatever. It's like
Yeah.
so good.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
I saw that there was one take that they were doing outside that a boat like on the best take a boat almost interrupted the scene, but they kind of like played over it with an airplane or something. Like they just kind of like added that in, you know, just because they're like, this is the best take. Let's just throw a fucking airplane in there to
Yeah.
Animation, you
That's-
can do it, bro.
that's-
Fuck it.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's why animation is better. It's just like you just fucking roll with the punches, just go with
Ah.
it. Right?
Huh.
One of the reasons, one of the many reasons.
I
Right?
like it.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Because otherwise, you just be spending your time trying to make it sound like you recorded it in a forest. Just go to the fucking
Exactly.
forest.
Just
You
go
know?
in the middle of the forest. Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. So all right, I mean we talked about the cast like randomly or well not maybe not randomly. Wes Anderson always gets pretty fucking stacked cast. Of course, Bill Maher in pretty much everything that he's made, right?
Oh, Bill Murray, you mean?
Bill Murray, I'm sorry, Bill
Yeah.
Maher. Bill Murray.
Yeah, there's like
Yeah.
a good 4, 5, 6 amount of people that are just in everything, no matter what. Like Owen Wilson
Yeah.
is just like the most random coach.
Yeah, he's like
character.
he's a coach.
Yeah.
But yeah, and his voice I think I recognize that he's like
Yeah, for sure.
quickest. Well, and
Yeah.
George Clooney, of course. But yeah, it just
Because
you
what
just know.
Jason Schwartzman is Ash, isn't it?
Ash.
Ash.
Yeah.
I couldn't
Yeah.
hear it. I don't know. Like I tried, but it was cool that I didn't recognize him. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe so. But yeah,
It's like the YouTube channel where it shows like every Transformers movie ever. They have like an every Wes Anderson movie ever, and it's
I've
like,
seen that, yeah.
yeah.
well, and that's kind of the
That's
interesting thing is like, you know, we talked about certain directors just having that style, Quentin Tarantino, Wes Anderson, and I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing to have. I don't know, it would be kind of cool to be like, and especially like if other people try to adopt that in your movie, there's like, oh, this movie was doing some Wes Anderson type shit. I mean, if you have the fucking trademark on your own style, like I feel like you're doing something right as a director.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So even if it can be a little maybe exhausting if you watch, like Jay said, watch 2 or 3 of them in a row.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's like if you've got the market on that, and then that's your shit, you know.
It's better than it just being stuck in just like the sea of generic shit, like where you really can't tell
For
who does
sure.
what. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Dude, I
It's
think
better.
yeah, I think it's really cool. Like I don't know, I've never watched a lot of his movies back to back, so I'd never gotten that exhaustion from it. But like I feel
Hmm.
like his style is like one of the most easily recognizable styles there is, dude. Live action animation, anything. Like, look at this. It's a whole ass book just about.
Accidentally Wes
It's called
Anderson.
called Accidentally Wes Anderson of just pictures that look like they'd be from Wes Anderson movies, and they fucking works. Like it's so crazy.
Yeah.
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 Again, to have that, corner on that market of media is just like you're doing something right. If people just look at
Yeah,
something and they're just like, "That's your style," you're definitely doing something
yeah.
right.
And it's like I don't even
Yeah.
care what the next movie he's making is about. I'm gonna watch it. Like I'm
Yeah.
just excited for it no matter what. Like that's so cool to
Bill
have
Murray's
that
already in it.
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
He is, isn't he? Isn't it the French Dispatch?
yeah. That's it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Damn, I
shit,
forgot that's
yeah.
coming
Yeah,
out.
it's coming out.
I think we saw like
That cast is stacked.
It's fucking
Mhm.
ridiculous. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and like there was I don't know, to just stay on the whole style, like there was a lot of scenes that were just like so beautiful in just how they were done, like specifically the mineral mine that they kind of go in, like when
Oh
they're
yeah.
having that like
Oh yeah.
every time Mr. and Mrs. Fox are having a heart to heart, they're behind like the most beautiful fucking thing. Like one was the gem mine, the other one was like that waterfall thing that was in the back.
That was
And you're
awesome.
just like I, I don't it's so weird because like it shouldn't be as beautiful as it is because it's just the way I don't know, the way that the style is seems so like rugged, but it
Yeah.
just there's something
Yeah.
about it. It's just, whimsical and just really works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some interesting technical stuff. They shot it at what, 12 FPS, which is half the normal speed that you would shoot a film.
Yeah.
Because that he wanted like the stop motion part to be more prominent. Like he wanted that as like to really shine through as like a thing that's I guess hard, but I feel like when you limit yourself to half the frames, that's even harder.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, they're
it's
huge. Yeah.
easy because you don't have to do as many like setups,
Yeah.
Right.
but it's harder to like get it to look good, you know?
Hmm.
And this movie looked really good.
Oh yeah.
It did, yeah. And yeah, so like you said, Wes Anderson, that was a choice they made to try to make the movie, try to just make the audience like very kind of hyper aware that it's stop motion. Because I think we talked about in our Coraline review, where at first, like the intro scene, you're like, okay, yeah, very stop motion, but then you almost just forget, like you kind of almost forget. I feel
Uh-huh.
like with this movie, it's just more apparent. It's just more choppy. It's,
Yeah.
and that was, but it fits it well. Like it was a good choice. I think
Yeah.
he did it very well.
I saw what they. This movie is comprised of 56,000 shots or something.
Yeah, which doesn't sound like
It doesn't
as
sound like
many.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I saw like that.
56,000, dude. Doesn't sound like that much.
But
Now that
okay,
we've
I don't
recorded
know.
2 episodes of the Fumble Master, look how
yeah,
long
but
it
they're
takes to set that up.
but each one
Dude, an hour
isn't
and a
like a
half.
picture. I mean,
You would
Hour and a
think way
half.
more.
Dude,
But
how
when you're
long it
working with
takes? Yeah,
miniatures
to move it just
and
that
it's
little
the
bit.
whole and then you gotta make them all, like all the
but
faces
okay.
are different physical faces.
So,
Yeah.
but think about it this way: is if they didn't do it, if they did it the standard, the 24 like
It'd be even
frames,
more.
it would be double. It would be literally double, right? So, but that's why maybe
Yeah.
it doesn't sound like that much. And then I think I was reading too about like just how many models they had for Mr. Fox, and it didn't sound like as many as I thought, because haven't we talked about like in A Nightmare Before Christmas, there's like so many different models
Jack Skellington.
for Jack Skellington, and like in this one I think they had like, what was it? It was like 7 main puppets or something, and then it like wasn't as many as you would kind of think. But
It says here, well, not just for Fox, but there was 535 puppets total made for this movie.
yeah, puppets total, right? So
Mr. Fox has
Um,
17 different styles.
17 different styles. Okay, which
That's
17
6 different
sounds like a
sizes.
small. Right. And,
That's
yeah.
so weird. Sorry.
Yeah, and like 17 different styles doesn't, I don't know. It doesn't sound like that many, does it? But then they do say he has 120, or excuse me, 102 puppets alone for Mr. Fox, which sounds like more, but I don't know. I'm just
Yeah, that's
comparing it to like
insane.
other stop motion things where I'm just like Jack Skellington probably had like 700. You know what I mean? Like
That's
Yeah.
his face
1,000.
also doesn't move like you know what I mean? Like they could probably move the face a little
That's
more.
true because they were yeah, they were
Literally
like
just like
puppets.
circles in a line that you'd have to literally you can't like move that, you know? Maybe
That's true. That is true. That makes sense, but
That's still a lot of work, dude. I've never made a
no,
puppet.
and
It's
I'm not
that
trying to like
difficult.
take away from that. It just like
Yeah.
it just seems, you're just like, oh shit, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But
It's crazy.
Well, the budget was pretty big, 40 million.
40
40
million,
million.
and
Yeah.
not a huge box office success
Yeah.
by any stretch of the imagination. 46 million was the box office. I think
Yeah.
which does, I mean, a little bit over break even, but
Yeah.
I don't know, one of those things where I don't know, it's kind of like it doesn't seem like Wes Anderson's just pumping out movies for the box office, right? Like
No.
Right.
it's a love for the craft and a love for the art.
Yeah,
Yeah.
For sure.
I was thinking about it. I was like maybe it was just like our age when it came out, but like I don't remember like hearing about this movie like
At all.
Or,
At
yeah.
all.
Mm.
And that's
No.
that's also the choice that we talked about because like this movie I don't feel like was marketed as a kids movie and it definitely doesn't have that feel at all.
Oh, yeah.
Where like so it, adults, like how many adults are really going to be like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to watch that animated stop motion or like that stop motion movie that's not for my 5-year-old."
Yeah,
Right? Like
that's
it's just
true.
not as popular of a thing that you would want to watch,
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to be really into movies, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is why I think that like his stuff is probably gonna be like cult classic-y stuff.
Oh yeah.
At least some of them, you
I
know.
feel like this movie is already getting there. I feel like I see a lot more of it like nowadays. Maybe it's just like Reddit or whatever, but I feel like I see it a lot more just in general. People are
Yeah.
recognizing finally.
Or you're paying attention more, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also the thing.
Maybe retroactively like, oh, this Wes Anderson guy is pretty cool. Check out that
Yeah.
other movie.
So in comparison to like the big heavy hitters around that time when it came out, so Wally was 2008 and Up was 2009. And they had substantially bigger budgets, but also
course.
way bigger box offices. And I don't think he was really I just brought that up because the Fantastic Mr. Fox poster says proof that Pixar doesn't have a monopoly.
Oh wow.
Oh, is it proof?
I don't know.
I don't know if sorry, Wes. I don't know if that's proof.
I don't know, but I just thought that was interesting. Just to see the comparison. I mean, I feel like this is like leaps and bounds more impressively. Well, I don't know. I think Up is overrated as shit. Wally obviously is in the Hall of Fame and beautifully animated, but like when you get into the stop motion shit, it's just so much more impressive. And to do it with $40 million instead of 175 million for Up, you know, that's a grip of cash.
Yeah.
And you know, I
Wow.
feel like you gotta give kudos to the Mr. Fox because that's impressive.
Yeah.
And it's I mean it's it's very different too.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like
It does have.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Oh my god.
Jinx.
feel
It
like
does
we
have this.
Take a
Oh my
shot.
God.
Oh my
Just-
god.
just
There was
take
a
a shot.
I'm talking. I'm talking.
All right, go for it.
I just feel like we have more of a concrete like understanding of moving a puppet and how long that would take versus like doing it on a computer, you know what I mean? Maybe that's why it's more impressive.
That's true.
That's all I was gonna
Yes,
say.
yeah. Yeah, no, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe that's unnecessary criticism.
Yeah, because like
yeah.
I
I'm
bet there's
sure,
like
yeah, it still takes
Because they're still moving
Tons of
frame by
time.
frame on a computer, but it's less physical
Yeah.
work, I guess.
I bet
Yeah.
like actual animators for movies hear about people just coming over fucking stop motion. Just like, guys, animating shit isn't easy either. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
people make things physically, but like, do you know how many hours I spend just staring at a computer screen trying to make that work? You
Yeah.
know, like so
Yeah,
yeah,
dude.
no, that's definitely not easy either. So
Well, their budget was good, so at least they got paid for it.
Yeah. I mean, I went to school at UNM initially for animation, so I got to do some of that in our first class.
And it was easy, right?
No, it's super fucking hard. But like,
He's like, I dropped out right away. It was too hard.
yeah, I dropped out immediately, dude. I was like, fuck that. But no, the crazy part is like, even in the first class, you could tell who was good at animating because they
Interesting.
injected their own style into the animation, right? Like there was an assignment where you had it like what was essentially like a potato sack, and the corners could move and the thing could like bend and fold, and you had to make it jump from one space to another. That was the assignment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so everybody's just like made the sack jump, right? And it was like, okay, he jumped, he landed, it kind of bobbled, cool. This
Yeah.
one motherfucker did this whole karate scene where like the camera zoomed in and like spun around, and he was like posing like karate like, jumped right up directly where he was and did like a flip and like a karate chop and shit,
Holy
and then like
shit.
landed back down, and it was amazing. And that's when I was like, I'm fucking out. Like, there's no way,
Dude,
you
I
know?
feel like I'd be so pissed. Be like, guys, it was just a jump. Why are you trying to show us all up like this? But I'm so
know.
impressed.
The teacher fails his ass. He's like, bro, I didn't fucking ask for this. Get out of here, show
Yeah.
off. Come on.
That's really
It's-
cool. I bet that guy skipped a lot of other classes, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
but I hope that he's an animator now because he was great.
Yeah.
For me, I just think I don't have the patience to sit there and like
You fucking code,
manipulate
bro.
every little thing. Yeah, that's a
I
different.
started
kind of
coding and I was like, I don't have
enthusiasm,
the patience for this shit and dropped out right away.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but it is very hard. I'll say that. But it's like you're not building things physically. Where like if you fuck it up,
Yeah.
that's it. You know,
Right.
you still have undo and control C, control V, and all that shit.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of animators that work on those big movies, and they only end up making like 10 to
minute.
50 seconds of the movie.
Yeah, well, didn't we?
Gosh.
I feel like there was a movie we watched where it was like one guy's job was like the cape or something of a character. Didn't we do a movie
Doctor
like?
Strange, I think.
Oh, was it that? Yeah, that's crazy, dude. One guy's job was just to make the fucking cape look good. Just like how many fucking animators are there, dude, on one
That cape was
project?
cool,
A
though.
lot.
Yeah,
The
That
cape
cape's
was
pretty
cool, though.
cool.
Yeah.
dude, I don't know. There's just something different about stop motion that just feels so. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, but just like the way, if they're just standing there and like their hair is moving all over the place and stuff. You think you guys notice that? Like,
Yeah.
it just kind of like statically moving around. Like that's literally like because
Yeah.
people are touching it and like their fingers are leaving
Are
marks on
moving
them
it.
and shit. I don't know. I just love that shit.
My
Makes
favorite,
it
my
feel so
favorite
alive.
was when the eyes were crying every time, like
Dude.
one of the characters like were tearing up.
Yeah,
It was just like, how'd they do that?
and like
How'd they do that?
especially the smoke. I loved it. It was like obviously like
Oh,
cotton
yeah.
or something.
Cotton
but
balls,
it was
yeah.
so
yeah.
cool looking.
Yeah, and the explosions, like they were so impactful. You're like, whoa, like those are really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just love how creative
Yeah,
it
felt right.
feels.
Yeah, so in
For
this
sure.
movie, speaking of stop motion versus CG, there was a CG scene in this movie. It's when the whole mine is flooded with cider, and you're like
Oh,
seeing
yeah.
that kind of go through. That was the only CG scene, but
Just like characters
Yeah.
spinning around and shit. I don't know.
yeah,
That was good.
but yes, so just ridiculous. But I mean, it worked, of course. Yeah, so let's see what else. Taryn, I'm curious, what else do you have? Like, I don't know, you've done obviously a lot of research on this movie from wrote a 3-page
It
paper.
was 4 years ago, dude.
So like what what did you say that the theme of your paper was on? It was something that Jay had touched on.
It was like existentialism and like individualism, I guess, was like what the paper was about. Because like there's even like the obvious line where he's just like, who am I? Like he's just like thinking about like I'm good at this one thing, but I can't do it, and I gotta do this other thing that I don't like doing, and I'm not that good at it. And then like it all just culminates so good at the end, especially because he gives that big speech where he's just like, we're all wild animals, and like let's do what we're fucking good at. And they all dig and do all this different stuff. All the different animals have their like specialties, like he hands out all the the jobs to all the different animals and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was basically just that. It was just like everyone has their own
Yeah.
like unique strengths, and they
Yeah.
should be able to like focus more on that instead of doing other shit, I guess. I don't know.
And they totally touch it when you don't realize it, which is another cool ass in joke where he's just like, "Oh yeah, I'm like deathly afraid of wolves," and like
Oh God, the wolves.
the wolf scene like represents him finally coming to terms that he is an animal
Mhm.
and that he's and there's this thing where he came from and what's like buried inside of him, direct or foxes are, essentially, I don't know, are they
They're in this-
related?
I don't
in
know.
the same
Same.
subspecies.
To
I would
wolves.
imagine.
Yeah, so like,
Mhm.
he has like this carnal creature that lives inside of him and he's almost trying to fight it throughout the whole movie. And he's like, "Oh, I'm afraid of it." And he keeps saying that he's afraid of it until he finally meets it eye to eye. And then he's like,
Yeah, he does the
it's
stare.
so weird. It was so weird. I was like, this is the weirdest fuck. I was like, this doesn't make sense.
And that was
But when
also
I'm
so
like
weird
thinking
because
about it, I'm like, it's good. It's
the
pretty
wolf
good.
is just straight up a wild animal that's just he's trying to talk to it in English and then in like in French or something.
Latin, yeah, he's like, he
Or
doesn't
Latin.
speak English or Latin.
But then he also asks him a question about like French, about like what the
Oh yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
winter's
Oh,
gonna be
yeah.
like or something.
Yeah.
He doesn't know. Like
Yeah, like the wolf is on all fours. No other animals are like
exactly.
they have clothes
Yeah.
on. Like yeah, he's a full-on wild fucking animal. It's good.
It's a full ass wolf. Yeah, that was interesting that he kind of conquered that, And yeah. And then Mrs. Fox pregnant again. Fantastic Mr.
Yeah.
Fox 2.
Number 2, right?
Ooh.
That'd be exciting.
Maybe.
Doubtful, but
Yeah, I doubt it.
Yeah. Did you guys
Well,
check
yeah.
out Isle of Dogs? Nobody checked it out. I
I
think
watched it
I
in
haven't
theaters
seen it
with
yet.
you, bro.
Yeah. You saw it in theaters with me?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. I don't remember that.
I'm pretty
Just,
sure. So I knew
interesting.
you guys
I'm
liked Wes Anderson, like Grand Budapest Hotel and stuff, and I was like, let's go watch this
Yeah.
movie. And there was like
yeah, maybe.
only a couple
I don't remember.
showings. Let's go. Yeah,
Yeah, it's cool. I like this one better, I think, though.
for sure. Yeah. me
Really?
too.
For sure. Yeah.
I Love Dogs
Huh.
is his other stop animation movie that came out
About
Yeah.
dogs.
2016, 17. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
Pretty recently. Yeah, I want to check it out. I saw it on there.
Yeah.
But that I feel like I have the fatigue, I gotta wait
Yeah.
a few weeks.
see, you gotta
Yeah.
Dude, I've been
yeah.
on David Lynch fatigue for over a year now. It's fine. Don't worry about it, man. You can't do it sometimes.
gotta give it a
Yeah.
down. Nice.
Interesting though. I thought it might have been better than this one. I thought I had heard that, I guess, when it came out.
Eh,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No.
It's alright. It's alright.
Negative. All right. What else? What any other fun facts or anything that we got? We didn't dive in too much to the plot, but I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
I don't know, it's
Heist
just a
movie.
fun- it's just a fun, like weird heisty kind
Yeah,
of.
The humans, maybe we could talk about Bunts and what's their name?
What
Biggs
is it?
and
Beans
I don't know.
or Bean? Yeah, which were interesting characters.
Yeah.
They reminded
just-
me of Robot Chicken a lot. The way they moved.
They
and shit.
did. Those
Especially
chickens
that
are up
scene.
to something. I know it. Yeah.
The way that he destroys that room with just after he's all pissed off or whatever, he's throwing
Yeah.
shit off the deck.
Right.
That was so Robot
funny.
Chicken.
Yeah.
That
Those
was
characters
so-
were fucking funny, dude. I loved it.
They were really good. Yeah, and like the song, like the nursery rhyme that they have is
Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah, it's
so-
good. And I think that's straight from the book. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
And then and when they're like all around the circle, like singing a song, and then he's like, "Oh, I don't know, I'm just ad-libbing the song," and he's like, "That's a bad song." What is it called?
Who was that guy? Petey? Was his name Petey?
Yeah.
Petey, yeah. It
Yeah,
was just so weird.
wonder who he
Random
was.
folk band that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess we could. Okay, so we talked a little bit about like Mr. Fox's character arc, but like Ash has one too, where he's he's starting to finally get into his groove, and he realizes when he's gonna save Christopherson. That's funny as fuck. He's like, I'm gonna need you to do give me a karate lesson real quick. Because he's like, I'm gonna karate
Judo
chop this.
chop through the freaking
The padlock. And then just like all that, and he's just like, I could fit in there because I'm small.
Yeah.
Just like it was just like, oh, what
Oh,
a sweet little boy.
Love him, dude.
And then what about like the interspecies relationships? It was like Christopherson's girlfriend was a deer, right?
She wasn't a deer,
She
but
was a
she
fox.
looked like a deer. That's
Wasn't
funny
she?
because Samantha said that too. She had the
She's a
spot.
deer.
No, she's a fox.
Oh.
She. I'm saying that like
Sure.
she's a hotter,
She's-
older.
Oh,
She was a dead ass fox, dude. No,
Fox
so like
baby.
she has, because she even mentions that she's like, oh, I'm like self-conscious about my spots, and then
Yeah.
he's just like, oh, I like your spots or something.
What was
But
her
no,
name?
she looks like a deer. I don't know what her
I don't remember.
I need to confirm this because I don't believe
pretty-
it.
I just
She was
assumed
a
she was a
fox.
fox. Yeah.
No, I didn't assume.
Do
I
foxes
dead
have
ass
spots
no.
sometimes? Let's look.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
this is
sure.
it.
But she looked like a deer.
they're like
Little
birthmarks.
doe.
She did look like a deer, but she's not a deer. She is a fox.
Yeah.
I will, and no, absolutely, but yeah, and I don't know. It's just funny,
Interspecies,
you know.
I was
like-
like, whoa, what happened? I don't remember this.
Huh? Oh, interspecies
Yeah.
relationship. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean,
Um,
yeah. It's like, huh, this is interesting.
But yeah, no, Ash's character does go through that arc, and like, it's funny because just the whole time it feels like, you know, he's trying to convince himself that like, no, he's not different. Like, he's not different. He's just as good, you know, as his father was. Like, he's gonna be, you know, he always refers to himself as an athlete,
Mhm.
and like that's just what makes like, why can't I say his name? I love that name, Christopherson.
There you go.
Christopherson's character so much more hilarious because like he's not cocky or anything. He's just
Naturally what
extremely
He's-
talented.
what Ash wants to be. Yeah.
He's all zen as fuck.
Yeah, like on his freaking name tag, what does it say? Okay, so on his name tag it says name Christopherson, silver fox, height 42 centimeters, and then in parentheses, tall for a cub. Weight 3.5 kilograms. Allergies none. Reason for travel, ill father. Like, it's just so funny. There's the little subtleties that they have. Like,
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's like similarly like where it's like 2 days later and it's like 12 fox years or whatever. Like all those different like. I don't
Yeah,
know.
title
yeah,
cards.
yeah,
The title cards.
So
Yeah.
funny.
but like also they can like kind of read them. They're like kind of breaking the fourth wall a little bit, where they like interact with those. Like, oh, how long can foxes go without eating? And like it just says that, and they're just like,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah,
Alright,
Christopherson
so-
crying under the train track feels bad.
Oh, dude, that was like actually heartbreaking. Like, it's like he's down.
Ash
What
is
did they
so
say about his
mean.
dad? He's down to single pneumonia. He
Yeah.
should be back.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Dude, real quick, the badger. I love that fucker. Like the little
I-
sidekick, basically. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
what was
right.
it?
Oh
No,
yeah.
the- What is
Possum.
he?
Possum. Oh,
Possum.
Possum, yeah.
When he
Yeah.
just
What
zones
what
out.
was he? Was
He was an
like
opossum.
he's just no, but
Oh.
like was he just like their roommate? Like what?
You like their handyman or something? I don't
He
know.
just, yeah, he just like lives there.
I don't
but-
know. Yeah.
When he would just zone out and his eyes would change. It's just funny every time. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great
Yeah.
every time.
But okay, so like when was this set? So like they finally get like the golden vault of the supermarket.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so they just steal stuff very particularly so they don't get caught. Is there cameras in this day and age?
Well, that's the thing is like
What's
they
going
eat,
on?
they
Are they-
eat like
are they gonna-
animals again, like in the
Yeah,
grocery store.
yeah.
It's not like they take a few things and take them back to their lair. They just so yeah, it's gonna be the whole thing again, and they're gonna like destroy the supermarket. Which
Yeah.
and then you have the huge irony at the end that it's all of their supermarket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of the three
Yeah.
people that they were fighting the whole time, they've infiltrated the supermarket, which was so good. It was so
And
great.
that's what was funny is like he made it like this big deal. He's like one last big heist in the beginning of the movie when he steals one chicken. It's like, what? They're gonna eat it like right away. It's like the last big one, and then I'm gonna be a
Just part
newspaper
one,
article.
Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
know.
part
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Well, that's what he meant. He was just like, this is the last series of crimes that we're gonna series,
Yeah.
but all right, so let's hop right into ratings. I think if we're ready, see if this is a Hall of Famer. I don't know. I kind of want Taryn to go first, but because I feel like he likes us the most, to kind of give us the vibe on what we're feeling.
Influence you guys.
Give us
I'll
the
do it.
vibe, so we just have to match his score.
We
We're
have to
like,
just
well,
match his
since
score.
Aaron fucking bumped
Is he
this
gonna-
up,
is he gonna
Uh.
leave this so high that we're like, all right, we can't hurt his feelings. We gotta.
Well, he did write a paper on it, so
I could go first. Fuck it.
Go ahead,
influence
Taryn.
you guys. I don't know. This is a self-proclaimed one of my favorite movies ever. Like top 5, I think.
wow.
Dang.
I don't know. Since the first time I watched it, dude. I don't know. I feel like maybe it's because it was at school it influenced me, because we obviously talked about it after, and like just that vibe of like being in a classroom and talking about a movie and everyone's just like really high
Yeah.
on the movie and it just fucking feels good the whole time. Probably
Yeah.
influenced me a lot, but like I watched it a couple more times since then. This is like probably my 3rd or 4th time watching this movie, and like I still loved it. Like that, those good feelings never went away, which is good. So I was a little nervous,
good.
but yeah, I don't know. I just love Wes Anderson. I love animation. Like the two put together is just awesome. The voice acting is so good. It's just so natural. Like the way they talk is
Mhm.
not over the top at all. Like I don't know. Like the way it was written and performed is just so unique. Everything on this movie is so fucking unique. Which is also like, you know, like that's the theme of the movie, bro. Take your uniqueness and use it to your advantage. You may be
Yeah.
different, but you gotta just do stuff with it, you know? I don't know. I just love
Yeah.
everything about this movie. I don't know. I'm lost. I'm like, I'm just
Read
so.
your paper.
Yeah, read the 3
Read
pages.
your paper.
There was like a part that I was like, should I just say that? What was it? Let me just quick little. You know, I'm just skimming the
Little
paper.
glance through.
Yeah, no, I can't do this. That's really hard to do. It wasn't like a big paper. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I always forget what we talked about before, but like all that stuff should be here. Insert that here in my review. I don't know what to rate it, dude. I'm fucking scared.
Why are you scared?
I don't know.
Go
'Cause
with
it's like
your
one of my
Rate it
favorite
what
movies,
feels
but like
right.
I
You
feel like
said
that's
top
such a
5 movies for you, dude.
yeah, but
That's
like
already
that's such
high
a
praise.
different category than like give it a number score. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
like so,
Mm.
like
I
okay, I
feel you.
love,
I feel
I
you.
love Rush Hour, but is Rush Hour 10? Come on,
Exactly.
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
Is
I
it
get
even
it,
an
yeah.
8? Like,
Yeah, favorite is
mean-
so different than like all this other
No,
stuff.
yeah. So don't
Sure.
like that's the thing is like don't feel the pressure of like it's one of my top 5, so it has to be a 9.8. Like no, rating is different.
Yeah, I'll
than
just
how
say
No, be honest with yourself.
what?
It's
Yeah.
garbage. No, I'm just kidding.
7. No,
give it 10,
9.3.
9.3.
Wow.
9.3 out of 10 coming from Taryn.
Feels good movie to watch.
Yeah, it is a feels good.
Nice.
All right. Do you guys mind if I go next?
Go
I
ahead.
think I can take it
Do
over.
it.
All right, yeah. So like echoing a lot of the things that Taryn said, I think like the voice acting just right out of the gate, it feels so natural and like I don't know, maybe I was just swooning over George Clooney's voice the whole time, but I'm just like, this is just working. Like, you know, and then Bill Murray and Willem Dafoe, like just to see these interesting characters, Owen Wilson, like all of them, I don't know, just being interesting characters, like seeing them animated was just a lot of fun. The whole story of like, you know, the father trying to be, he's just trying to be a provider and like trying to do what he loves, but also I think what I love about Fantastic or like Mr. Fox's character is that he kind of admits that like a lot of it does have to do with ego, and like that was something that I like personally feel like I could really relate to, where he's just like, I just want people to respect me. I want people to like understand that I am like really good and like almost to kind of fear me in a way. Like he goes into this really interesting monologue where he's just being so candid, and I don't know, I just kind of like related to that. I'm just like, I'm that type of person where like I just want people to like me. And it's like almost to my detriment where I'm like, I just want to be liked, and to kind of see that out on in his character, it just really resonated with me. And I thought it was just so great. And because it's not like he has bad intentions and wants this for like greed, but it's just this thing, this insatiable craving that he has that just really worked. Like it really worked, and especially him being a fox, you know. I don't know. So that was like probably my favorite part, you know, my favorite theme about the movie. I think like now that I'm kind of thinking about this and comparing it to other animated movies, and like why I think all of us love animated movies so much is because we can watch them as kids and then watch them as adults, and like it's still just as amazing as an adult and as a kid, but for a completely different reason. And I think that's maybe where this movie as an animated movie like doesn't do it for me as much, is because I don't think the kids would enjoy this movie, frankly, at all. Like there's very little for kids to just enjoy about this. And I don't know, I think what I love about animation is the blend, is like to have both of those coexist and tell two different stories. And this movie is not trying to do that, right? But it, you know, obviously it just doesn't have it. Um, but I don't know. Of course, you know, all again, all of the Wes Anderson tropes, completely visually beautiful in a weird way, right? Because like if you just look at a picture of it, you're like, these animals are kind of ugly, but they're all like when you're watching them on screen, you're like, they're adorable. You'd love the cuteness of them. There's that whole factor, and I don't know. It really, really works. But you know, I don't know. For me, is it quite there at a Hall of Fame? I don't think so. I think it does fall a little bit short, but it's still great. I still loved it. For me, it's an 8.8 out of 10.
Okay.
Oh my
Yeah,
god, I have
that's
to say,
fair.
Gerald said it was a 9. That is amazing to
Wow.
me.
Yeah,
Wow,
that's
huge.
awesome.
That is
Yeah.
huge. All right, so an 8.8 out of me.
Big.
Who wants to go next, Jay or James?
Go ahead, Jay.
Okay. So yeah, I think there's a little bit of relatableness that I align with you on, Adrian. I think that maybe most of us probably have those feelings, especially because like we try to make stuff like this podcast and like do these things like me and James in the band and stuff. Like it's in a way just exposing yourself to other people. Like, hey, we are doing this
Naked
thing, we're
and
making this
afraid.
thing. Yeah, and like you don't want anybody to say that it sucks. But then when it happens, like with our first feedback on Instagram, you also don't really care, you know?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
dude's
And
a
like
boomer.
there's a blend of like we enjoy it. Like what we if we didn't enjoy it, we wouldn't have been doing it for this long consecutively,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And like
Yeah.
planning all these things around it and like acting on them, which is a lot of work. But it yeah, I don't know, it's weird. It feels like it doesn't matter, and that in a lot of ways I connected to like, yeah, people should play to their strengths and be able to do that and do whatever they want, you know? Like that is that is the place where you will act and like be the best in your life. And I think that Wes Anderson got to do that, and that's like what we're seeing a lot of is like, oh, I've been making movies since I was like college age, basically, like when other
Yeah.
people would start like working. And you know, he probably shares in those feelings too. Like everybody should be able to do what they want.
Yeah.
So I resonated strongly to that. Like, you know, personally just being like burned out at work or getting burned out and like all the COVID shit, just like in, you know, doubling down on everything, making it that much more heavy. You definitely start to think about like how you're using your time and stuff, and you know, related to that. So it's hard to knock it. I mean, there is the like style fatigue. Um, I feel like that's like very telling. Like we talked more about the style and the vibe and all that stuff than we did like the movie, like the plot and stuff.
Yeah.
And I get that he didn't like make the story, but you know,
Right.
But I feel like that's common with Wes Anderson movies. They're like beautiful to look at. There may be some like deep dark substance there, but it's not really like a story that's gonna keep you in your seat the whole time, you know, or like
Yeah.
keep you on the edge of your seat, I should
Man,
say.
sometimes movies can just be vibes. That's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
There's nothing
no, for
wrong with
sure,
that. Absolutely.
for sure.
Absolutely.
And it's definitely a vibe. Like, I think for me, I'm probably closer to Adrian, like at 8.7. Sounds right to me.
Yeah.
Okay. 8.7 out of 10 for Jay. Let's hear it from James. Where you at?
Why are you
Um,
laughing? Stop.
I'm not laughing. I don't know. It's because like I'm gonna say all these positive things, but I feel like my score is not gonna reflect my positive things to say about it. I mean, totally enjoyable movie. I don't know if I agree with Adrian in the sense that it's not for kids. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if I like that argument that animated movies have to be for kids, you
What I'm
know?
saying
Like
though is that like when they can
you
do both is when it's beautiful. That's what
yeah,
I'm saying.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, okay. Okay, then I can agree with that. But I think that people are gonna be able to pick this up and it's got the heist for the dads. I feel like
Yeah.
this is a total dad movie, you know.
Very much a dad
I
movie.
thought Jay was about to go into like some
It's a
I'm a
10.
dad. No, yeah, no, I thought you were gonna go into I'm a dad and I'm trying to sacrifice my life for my
Comparing himself
child.
to George Clooney. Okay.
Yeah, I was
Well,
like, oh shit, so we robbing banks? Let's go. Let's get it.
no, but okay.
That's what I
I'm
thought we were
gonna
doing.
I'm cutting into your review and I'm sorry, but I'm gonna
No, no, no.
respond to
Go
these
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
claims. No, there is that for me. But see, I don't
Yeah.
really think about being a dad in that way. Like what I would rather do is like rob the bank, whatever it is, right? The thing that you love and show them like, hey, you can do this. Like, don't feel like you have to be locked into something that you don't like. Don't feel like you have to do that. Like, you
Yeah.
can do something. You can make things. You can do something. I think more people just kind of need that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the affirmation helps. Like when somebody's like, "Hey, the thing was cool." Like it does help.
Mhm.
I'm not
Take the
saying to go
risk.
and drop 5-star reviews on every platform or
But if you
nothing, but
did, like, I wouldn't mind.
yeah, but it's
Yeah.
and in some ways like you explore that and that's where I want to shine through as a dad and not necessarily like, "Oh, I'm going to go do this thing and grind and like hate it, but I have to provide," you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like in some
Yeah.
ways you are robbing the bank if you're doing what you love and providing.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh.
Damn.
Nice. Nice. Well, shit. Now I don't know what to say.
Well, shit.
No, no. Yeah. I mean, we touched on. I think there's some really good, easy to follow character arcs there. Sometimes the dialogue, I feel like sometimes Wes Anderson, the dialogue is so overly witty. Sometimes where you're just like
Mm.
some things get lost in the sauce there,
Yeah.
and like I'm
Yeah.
like. I think probably most of these movies benefit on multiple viewings and like just being able to catch all the little dialogue that comes out because I feel like the dialogue is very unnatural, you know, not everyone fucking spits out zingers like that, boom 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 boom. You know, it's like you know, it's it's fun. It's fun to watch, but I think there's that fatigue there, and like I've said, Grand Budapest Hotel is one of my favorite movies like ever. But yeah, stop motion animation is the shit. But this movie is an 8 for me,
They're
straight
gonna say
across.
is shit.
His shit.
No, no.
Oh my God.
Imagine I just dropped a bomb, like you know, and that's and like eight's a good score. I feel like that's like the
Yeah.
right score
Yeah.
for me, even though I gushed about it. I don't really know what would take it to
To
that
that next level, yeah.
next level. I think I don't know. I'm not a guy that does that. I'm trying to think. What was my biggest problem? Is maybe that it's it might not be too approachable for a wide audience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
Kinda niche,
I
yeah.
think you have to watch this movie a couple times, and then you start falling in love with just like the little zingers that happen,
Mhm.
and I think that's could sort of hurt it on a first time viewing, even though I've seen this movie a couple times.
All right.
Dude, that's so
So-
interesting. You mentioning Grand Budapest, I'm like, that's definitely his best movie, but like, why isn't it my favorite Wes Anderson? I don't know. It's just so weird to conflict in my mind.
Yeah, that is.
I don't know. Yeah.
All right. So an 8.7 for our Fumbler score.
I like
Pretty
it.
good. Not a Hall of Famer. Sorry, Taryn, but I don't think you were like really rooting it for it to be, you know.
Sorry, Grumpiest Cat who requested the movie and she gave it a solid 10, baby, 10.
Whoa,
Let's go.
nice.
She gave it a
Grumpiest
10 in the
Cat.
chat.
That's
No,
awesome.
and that's the thing is like we only had positive things to say about this movie. It was great. 8.7 is a high score, guys. That's a really
Oh,
high score.
She's gonna
Yeah.
comment on our Instagram. You guys are fucking hot.
Just copy paste that shit.
Oh man. All right, so Fumbler score of an 8.7. Let us know what you guys think about this movie. Follow us on all of our socials. Find all of those at filmfumblers.com. Next week, we are recording a review on Kubo, another animated movie. Not in animation, but another animated movie. We're just keeping that vibe going through June. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, so tune in for that episode. Doing that next week. Yeah, until then, we will see you guys next time. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
See ya.
Cheers.